Captain Ethan Cole was known throughout the Terran Alliance fleet as a man of discipline. He was a strategist, a soldier, and above all, a husband devoted to his wife Mira, back on Earth. Every day aboard the patrol ship Vanguard, he carried her picture inside a silver locket, a small reminder of home in the middle of endless stars. The ship had been stationed on the edge of the Velis Nebula, a strange sector known for radio interference and unexplored phenomena. Most captains hated assignments like these, too quiet, too empty. But for Ethan, the silence was a comfort. After years of war between humanity and several alien coalitions, a quiet post felt like peace. That peace ended on the 72nd day of patrol. The radar operator shouted from his station, "Unknown craft entering range. Small, sleek, maybe one passenger. Not a known configuration." Ethan leaned over the console, studying the image. It was a beautiful craft, curved and silver like liquid light. "Open a hail," he ordered. Static filled the bridge speakers, followed by a soft, melodic voice. "This is Serana, envoy of the Lysari Dominion. My ship is damaged. Requesting assistance, the Lysari." Ethan had heard the name. A mysterious reclusive species known for their beauty and advanced technology. They rarely spoke to humans and never asked for help. Still, rules were rules. "Prepare the docking bay," Ethan said. "Let's see what kind of trouble she's in." When the alien ship docked, the bay lights reflected off its smooth hull. As the airlock opened, a soft mist spilled out, carrying a scent like jasmine. Out of the mist stepped Serana. Every human in the bay went silent. She was tall and graceful, with pale silver skin that shimmered faintly in the light. Her hair flowed like strands of crystal, her eyes deep violet, glowing faintly as if alive with energy. She wore a simple white uniform, but even that seemed to flow and move with her. Ethan approached her, his expression controlled. "I'm Captain Cole, commander of this vessel. Welcome aboard." Serana smiled, a gesture so perfectly calm it felt rehearsed. "Thank you, Captain. My ship suffered a plasma leak. Your help is most appreciated." Her voice carried an unusual tone, soft, melodic, almost hypnotic. Ethan felt a faint dizziness, but he quickly steadied himself. "We'll assist," he said firmly. "Lieutenant, escort our guest to medbay for a scan." As Serana was led away, the crew whispered among themselves. "Did you see her eyes? She's like something from a dream." "Think she's dangerous?" Ethan ignored the chatter, but something about Serana unsettled him. Beauty was one thing, but there was something beneath her calm exterior, a sense of purpose he couldn't name. Later, in his ready room, he studied the reports. Her ship's systems were advanced beyond Terran tech by at least 50 years. Yet she had come alone, with no escort, no weapon systems, and no clear reason to be in human territory. He tapped his comm. "Lieutenant Hale, status on our guest. Medbay reports no injuries." "But sir, she asked for you. Says she wants to speak privately." Ethan frowned. "On my way." The medbay was quiet when he entered. Serana stood by the observation window, watching stars drift by. When she turned, her violet eyes locked onto his. "Captain Cole," she said softly, "I wanted to thank you personally. Few humans would help a Lysari without suspicion." Ethan folded his arms. "We're not enemies," her smile deepened. "No, but we could be much more than that." He hesitated. "Meaning?" Serana took a slow step forward. "I have studied your species, Captain. Humans are unique. You fight harder, love deeper, and suffer longer than any species I've known. You fascinate me." Ethan chuckled lightly, trying to break the strange tension. "That's flattering, but I'm just doing my job." "You underestimate yourself," she said. "You carry a loyalty that is rare. I can feel it. How's that?" She tilted her head. "We Lysari sense emotional resonance. Yours burns bright like a sun. You think of someone far away." Ethan stiffened slightly. "My wife." Serana smiled again, but this time it was softer, almost sad. "Ah, so that is the anchor of your light." Over the next few days, Serana remained aboard while engineers repaired her ship. She moved gracefully through the corridors, speaking to crew members, learning about human customs. Everyone seemed drawn to her calm voice and glowing eyes. But Ethan noticed something strange. The longer she stayed, the more distracted his crew became. They made mistakes, small ones at first, but growing. Men forgot orders. Officers lost focus during shifts. Even the AI assistant reported unusual emotional fluctuations among the crew. Ethan confronted Serana in the observation deck one evening. "You've been quite a presence aboard my ship," he said carefully. She turned toward him, her expression unreadable. "Do I trouble you, Captain?" "You trouble my crew. They can't think straight when you're around." Her lips curved slightly. "Perhaps they are simply overwhelmed. Your species feels deeply, yes? Attraction, admiration, longing, emotions that burn like fire. We Lissari do not suppress such feelings. We explore them." Ethan's jaw tightened. "We also have boundaries." Serana stepped closer, her eyes glowing brighter. "And yet, boundaries are made to be tested." Her presence seemed to fill the room, an invisible pressure that brushed against his mind. He felt warmth flood his thoughts, a strange calm trying to pull him in. For a brief moment he saw flashes, visions of her world, crystalline oceans, silver towers, and her voice whispering through his mind. "Ethan," she said softly, using his first name, "you don't have to fight it. You could feel what I feel." He took a deep breath, forcing the images away. "Stop. Whatever this is, you need to stop." The glow faded slightly. She stepped back, her expression curious. "You resist well. Most would not." "I'm not most," he said firmly. "And I'm married." Serana looked at him for a long moment. Then she nodded slowly. "I see now why humanity has survived so long. You have strength beyond reason." Later that night, Ethan sat alone in his quarters, staring at the stars beyond the viewport. His hand still trembled slightly from the strange energy he'd felt. He opened the locket, gazing at Mira's picture. He whispered, "Still yours always." A faint chime interrupted his thoughts. The AI's voice spoke. "Captain, the Lissari envoy has requested departure clearance." "Grant it," he said quietly. But as her ship detached from Vanguard, Ethan couldn't shake the feeling that this encounter had been more than a coincidence. The Lissari hadn't just been stranded, they had been testing him, testing humanity. And though he had resisted her charm, something told him that Serana hadn't failed her mission at all. Days passed aboard the Vanguard, but Ethan could not shake the memory of Serana's violet eyes. The Lissari envoy's visit had been brief, yet her presence lingered like a shadow in the ship's corridors. Despite the ship now operating normally, subtle changes troubled him. Crew members occasionally glanced at his empty observation deck, whispering behind his back. A strange energy occasionally hummed through the bulkheads. He knew instinctively that Serana's departure had not been an accident or mere request for help. The Lissari were meticulous, deliberate. Nothing they did was random. And this made him uneasy. "Sir," Lieutenant Hale reported, entering the ready room, "I've been analyzing the data from the Lissari ship systems. There's something odd. Patterns in the energy signature that look almost like signals. I think she left a message." Ethan raised an eyebrow. "A message? What kind of message?" Hale hesitated. "I'm not sure. It's not language like we know. More like a challenge, something that interacts with our neural patterns. It's subtle, but it might be a test." Ethan's jaw tightened. "A test of what?" Hale shrugged. "Of human response, maybe. We'll know soon." The first hint came during a routine patrol near the Velis Nebula. The Vanguard detected a small drifting craft, a scout of unknown origin. Its hull shimmered faintly, and on approach the ship's sensors picked up an irregular pulse. Ethan ordered it to be brought aboard. When the hatch opened, there was no one inside, only a small cube that hovered mid-air, glowing softly with violet light. It pulsed in rhythm with Ethan's heartbeat. "Sir," Hale said uneasily, "this cube, it feels like it's reading us." Ethan approached, hand hovering near the scanner. The cube pulsed faster, almost reacting to him directly. He realized with a start that it was scanning his mind, not violently, but probing gently, testing boundaries, reading emotions. "Captain," the AI warned, "the object's energy signature is similar to Lissari neural emissions. Exposure may cause mental strain if prolonged." Ethan ignored it, studying the cube. He felt a strange warmth in his chest, not threatening but insistent, like an invisible hand brushing against his thoughts. Images of Serana flickered across his mind, the glow of her hair, the depth of her eyes. But he forced himself to remember Mira, her warm smile, the way she laughed at their private jokes. "This is a test," he muttered, "of loyalty, of humanity." Over the next days, the cube remained on the observation deck. Crew members reported dreams of strange landscapes, visions of violet light and feelings they could not describe. Some felt calm, others anxious. Ethan noticed even Hale seemed distracted, staring at the cube for hours, muttering under his breath. Ethan decided it was time for action. He entered the observation deck alone, placing his hand on the cube. "I know what this is," he said firmly. "A test, but I will not falter. I'm human. I am loyal. I will not be distracted by illusions." The cube pulsed violently, light flaring, and for a brief moment Ethan felt the same warmth, the same pull that Serana had radiated. A voice filled his mind, soft, melodic, unmistakably hers. "Ethan, you could experience more. You could understand more. Why cling to what is limited?" Ethan's fists clenched. "Because limits define us," he thought. "Because love defines us." The cube's glow dimmed as if acknowledging his resistance. Slowly, it floated toward the center of the deck, then split into smaller fragments that hovered in a perfect circle. "You see," Ethan whispered aloud, "you cannot break human loyalty." But the Lysari's tests were far from over. As the Vanguard continued patrol, reports came from nearby colonies. Systems that had never seen Lysari interference before now showed signs of infiltration, sensors distorted, communications scrambled, and civilians reporting strange visions. The Alliance convened an emergency council. Ethan attended via HoloLink, reporting his findings. "The Lysari are testing us," he explained. "Not just me, but all humans. They probe our minds, our decisions, even our emotions. Their goal is unknown, but it's clear. They want to see how we respond under pressure." An admiral leaned forward, frowning. "Captain, are you saying humans are being seduced?" Ethan gave a tight smile. "In a way, but not sexually, psychologically. They test loyalty, attachment, and the strength of our moral compass." The council fell silent. The admiral nodded slowly. "If that is true, humans must show that our values are unbreakable. That's the point of this HFY principle. We fight, we survive, and we remain true to what defines us." Meanwhile, aboard the Vanguard, Serana's influence lingered in subtle ways. Crew members who had briefly interacted with her showed increased empathy, stronger teamwork, and a surprising creativity in problem-solving. Ethan noted this with cautious respect. "Sir," Hale said one evening, "whatever she intended, she's inadvertently improved the crew. They're more cohesive, more human." Ethan nodded slowly. "That is humanity's strength. Even when tested, we adapt and grow stronger. That's why we survive where others fail." The Vanguard continued to encounter Lysari devices, small drones, holographic projections, neural tests, all designed to push humans to emotional extremes. But each time Ethan and his crew resisted, they held fast to their values, using reason, compassion, and loyalty as their shields. Then the final test arrived. A Lysari envoy, this time a fleet of small silent ships, approached the Vanguard in formation. They did not attack, but instead projected a massive energy field. Inside it, Ethan saw an impossible vision. A city of crystal towers, silver rivers, and at its center, Serana. She extended her hand toward him, eyes glowing, voice filling his mind. "Join me, Ethan. See what your species could become. Abandon the limits of loyalty, of love. Experience everything the Lysari can offer." Ethan felt the pull, the temptation to step forward, to touch her hand and let the visions wash over him. But he thought of Mira, of Earth, of humanity's countless struggles, triumphs, and sacrifices. "No," he said firmly, raising his voice. "Humans have limits for a reason. Love, loyalty, family, they define us. I will not abandon them." The energy field pulsed violently, then collapsed in on itself, scattering like broken glass. Serana's image faded, leaving only the stars beyond. After the encounter, Ethan called his crew together. "You have all passed," he said solemnly. "The Lysari tested us, not just as individuals, but as a species. And we did not falter. We remained human. We protected each other, and we held fast to what defines us." Hale smiled. "Sir, even those of us who were tempted by the visions, we feel stronger for resisting." Ethan nodded. "That's the point. Resistance is not weakness, it's proof of strength. Humanity survives not by taking what is easy, but by standing for what is right." For the first time since Serana's arrival, Ethan felt peace. The Vanguard resumed its patrol, its crew more united than ever. And somewhere in the distance he sensed that the Lysari had observed everything, noting humanity's resilience. Though Serana had sought to seduce, to tempt, and to test, she had inadvertently revealed humanity's greatest power, the ability to choose loyalty over desire, courage over fear, and love over temptation. Ethan looked out at the stars. "They may be beautiful," he said quietly, "but no one is more powerful than a human who stands true to themselves.